Light tanks. Yeah, that's it. That's the video. All right, today I'll be ranking all the light tanks from tier 7 and up based on my personal enjoyment of them. So, you will disagree with me at some point in this video. I guarantee it. So, don't take just take it all for granted is what I mean. It's not competitively rated at all. So, just keep that in mind. And without further ado, let's get into it. So, first up, the WZ 132. It's okay. I enjoy this tank, but like I feel for what it is just it has such low damage per minute that I wouldn't put it into the I enjoy it category. But it is just a good all round tank for tier 7, and you don't have to face like lights with, or I guess you do have to face lights with CVS if you're up tiered, but in a good matchup, it's just you get to roam the map basically. So it's nice there. WZ or Type 62, my bad. I've actually never played apart from like the 4 random battles I had in it from like 2015 or something, just from a rental because Wargaming did that for some reason. So I assume it'd just be like in the same category, maybe up here, just because it has damage per minute and a little bit extra view range. But I'm not gonna base this off that. The WZ 132. I mean, I enjoy this tank as well, just due to the fact that you got to go against EOCs constantly. It's just it's not an amazing tank. To me, it's like just a Type 59 without armor and with a little bit better camo. So nothing really too special for me. But I'd go and play it again if I was just that bored. The M41D. So you know, I've never played this tank, but it's statistically like just basically a bulldog. So like the regular one. So we just throw that up there. I think the bulldog's actually a little bit better with the buffs. I enjoy this tank, or the bulldog. I enjoy it. It's just constantly going against some ELCs again. But this one, you're huge, absolutely no armor. You're going to get pinned by HE like if they decide to shoot at you. And 14% camo or something, it's not great. Plus, really low alpha. If this tank had the autoloader that it used to, I would put it into the I love it category immediately. But it doesn't. So I hope this tank gets buffed, and the entire WZ line and the Sheridan line, personally, are the only two that need buffs. I mean, maybe the new Tejok line a little bit too, but that's it would go into the okay category. It's okay category. All right, the WZ 132A. Well, I just hated this tank. With the Top Gun, it was all right, but just getting through that grind was like just kind of bad for me. It was a bad experience. I didn't really enjoy it. I actually like sold the tank like twice or something before finishing the line, and just said it's not worth it. So it'll go into I hate it category. Which, I mean, if I didn't finish the line, I wouldn't play this tank, which I actually love the WZ 132 one. It's it's actually more enjoyable for me than most of the tier 10 lights. I don't really know why. I think it's just because the trolley turret armor mixed with like it can ram other lights, so it's just fun. I do like the gun, or the gun is alright, I guess, for 390 alpha. I do think if I were to buff this line though, you know, maybe give it more alpha, like one of like the derp gun, the AP derp gun from Steel Hunter, except not like Sheridan level of derp, but kind of like a middle ground, just not even a derp gun, just a high alpha damage gun. Or maybe just make it like the entire line like the Charmelee, which should be pretty cool. But other than that, it just needs some sort of buff. But despite that, it is one of my favorite lights. All right, AMX 1375. I enjoy this one mainly because I just love autoloaders. Um, because I'm a light tank player, but autoloaders, it just feels so rewarding to be able to put a clip into someone, which is why I like I, I I also like enjoy the 1357 and all these different autoloaders. 1357 though would probably be into the I love it just because of the faster injure clip. This one I wouldn't put into the I love it because it just doesn't feel like you're playing with a tier 7 gun. Because the AMX 12T gets the exact same gun, a tier lower, so might as well go play that instead of the 1357. But it did get buffed, so it's all right. Or I really do enjoy it. 13 or 1357 on the other hand though is just the best light tank for a reason at tier 7. So you know only lacks the ammo capacity and a kind of penetration, but that's it's self-explanatory for that one. EBR Hotchkiss, I didn't really enjoy the EBR, but it's been a while since I played it. But I've also just not bought it back, kind of for a reason for that too. Because I why would you go back to the EBR 75? It's just a tank you got to grind through. Batchat 12T, I actually love this tank. It's like my top 5 most played tank on my account with horrible statistics because I was grinding the Batchat line and the 13105 line when I was like a horrible player. So, but with the buffs especially, it just feels so fun. It is such a good tank. Just I love doing the full clip damage, like 680 or something. Just putting that through in like 6 seconds. Oh man, it just feels so nice. And you reload in like 15 seconds. So, comparing this to the boar now is like actually a viable choice. Like usually it's just the boar is just outright better, which it still is. But this one just with the buff is it keeps up, I guess. Now EOC, I enjoy it, but my main complaint about this tank, I guess, it's overpowered, of course. If that was like, it would go like right there if it was based on how good the tank was. But the ELC, I feel like is just a little bit too, not slow, but like its engine power is just not up there, I guess. I don't accelerate quick enough, and I really don't like that. I've died like countless times to that, and the 3 mark experience was just horrible just for that reason because I lost just a ton. Also, 3 mark in this tank is just so difficult when I just get Paris like 5 times in a session. So EB or not EBR, Lynx. Um, it's okay. I think the Lynx is a pretty good tank, but its gun just trolls so much, and it like for me personally, and it just doesn't have any advantages over the EBR 75, which is why I think wargaming should buff the either the view range or the camo or just something with the gun of this tank because you know this is just outright better. So it's not like to the I enjoy it yet, but I do play the Lynx every once in a while. EBR 75 I've never played. If I did, I'd probably go into the I love it category. So there's that, I guess. Um, nothing more to really be said there. Amex 1390. Um, I know a lot of people actually do enjoy this more than the tier 10. But I don't really like the 1390 that much. I bet you it's a good tank. I've 3 marked it too, so I guess there's that. But it's not really something I'd like to go back and play over something like a Char Ali, which is just one of my favorite tanks in the game, probably top 3 or something. Just putting out the 600 burst in a second and then coming and doing it like 3.5 seconds later, it's just so satisfying. And then on top of that, you get the speed mode that you can use to get around the map. It's just such a perfect tank to design. I mean, I wish they'd do like a tech tree of these, or like give the gun to the WZ line or something like that. I don't know. EBR 90, I do enjoy the EBR 90. Actually, just more than the EBR 105. I don't really know why. Maybe just because people can't play the EBR 90, so you're just killing the enemy light and then roaming around for like the next 13 minutes or whatever. So I guess there's that. And I just have this fond memory of almost winning my first call of Banoffs in the EBR 105 after doing like 5,000 damage. So I mean, it was just a good memory when I was three marking that. So AMX 13105. I do love this tank, but I don't think I love it enough to put it into the I love it category. Simply due to its dispersion being like the second worst of the tier 10 lights, only like behind I think this one, and if you actually think the Derp Sheridan's even worth playing, it just misses way too many shots. I know it's supposed to be a mini batch and it's not supposed to be like sniper accurate because it's a light tank, but still, like even with the like avert stab and getting its bloom after firing to below its interclip, I still just miss easy shots, you know. And it has the issue with like having light tank penetration, so there's that too. EBR 105 I do enjoy, but you know, as I said, not as much as the EBR 90. I feel like where my enjoyment like falls for this tank is that its reverse speed just isn't as fast as its top four speed, or like 30 kilometers slower. And I do use that a lot when I'm playing EBR 90. So I mean, I guess that's one of the reasons I just dislike it compared to the EBR 90. All right, Spice, I've never played. I skipped over that. Um, I'd probably put it into like Suffering because it's just not really a good tank in my eyes. Very slow, and I guess with the buff it has some damage per unit now, but you know, still not like any sort of special gun, so it's just there. I've never played the Awful Panther though, either. I mean, so I guess I have to put into there as well, but I feel like I'd actually kind of enjoy the Awful Panther for like what it is, because you know, it is like the definition of suffering for all lights. In wargaming, you know, just doesn't want to do anything about that for some reason. Like it needs a buff so bad. If any light tank does, it is this one. So I feel bad for the players who have to play that. You know, I really want it though. All right, Hawk 12. You know, it's okay. It's not really anything special. I don't know if it has the special HE that the German lights do, because I know the Hawk, the RU, and the RHM do have very nice HEs. The Hawk 12 though, the issue with this tank is just that you have no shell velocity for some reason. So yeah, you have to really just get used to that. I never played the German Bulldog, but if I were to, I'd probably just put into that It's Okay along with the other Bulldogs. I feel like this is the one premium light tank that actually fell out after the light tank nerfs because you know they didn't touch premiums. But you know this one, you know, it's just because of its size and you know getting competing against ELCs, it just isn't really you know as good. I feel like it probably would be above the actual Bulldog though if I were to put it anywhere, just because of the alpha damage alone. Hawk. Hawk 30, I enjoy Hawk 30. It is just an RU251 at tier 9, so I mean, what else is there to say? And I do enjoy the RU251 as well. Only difference is, you know, this one has more engine power, I guess. I do love the HE shells on them because, you know, 102 millimeters of pin is amazing. Like, you just pin so much at the tier. You can pin the rear of heavies. And I love just, you know, going in and clipping, or not clipping, but just Hing a T95 to death because I hate those things. That's actually my least favorite tank in the game. And, you know, getting behind one just feels so satisfying with these things. As well as the RHM Panzerwagen, which is probably my favorite or one of my favorite lights in the game, simply due to its HE and its speed. And on top of that, it has the most accurate gun of any light. And my goodness, it just feels so good. You just reliably hit your shots. You can move around the map so quick. It's just it gives a new experience to like from playing a bunch of slow lights that I've done before. So, you know, great tank. I don't know how I did that. What did I do? Okay, undo. There you go. I don't know how I did that. I mean, the Selma is like the definition of suffering, but getting ahead of myself. All right. Um, what is this? The setter. Whoops. I did enjoy this tank. It's horrible. Like comparing it to where is it? This the spice. I feel like the spice would be better. Or it is better. My bad. But the setter has funny HE. So just 75 millimeters of HE pin, and I've actually played the tank, so I did enjoy the setter. It is just a horrible tank, but you just gotta take the good with the bad, I guess. And what I'm trying to say is I don't know why I enjoyed the setter. It was just a fun tank to play. Unlike this, I hated the LHM. I'm actually gonna put it in suffering. I hated this tank so much. I don't know what it was, but I just could not make it work. It it just doesn't play for what the line is meant for. I feel like the entire Manticore line is just trying to get to the Manticore so you can be the top light. Everything else is just not a good tank, statistically, I guess. And this one just it just didn't work for me. Never played the Sinlek, probably wouldn't enjoy anyway. Just basing it off of like how it looks like statistically. It doesn't really seem like I'd enjoy over any like other tanks I could play. G-Sor, I hated. I don't know why. It just without getting the top tracks, you just can't turn. And I didn't get the top tracks before getting the Manticore. And I feel like that's just on me, but I'm never gonna play the G-Sor again. So I guess there's that. All right, the Manticore. You know, I think this is okay tank. So with the Manticore, for me, I'm either having a really good time or a really horrible time. Because whenever you're playing on any city map, you just don't have the gun to do really anything. But whenever you're playing on like Prokhorovka, on the off chance you are, then you're having a great time. But that doesn't seem to happen very often. So I don't hate it. I just like light things with guns, like actual you can do something with the gun. You just can't really do much with the Manticore. Um, T71. It's okay. It's I know it's kind of just a stupid replacement for an already amazing tank, but the T71 CDMC, it's not like horrible in my opinion. It can work, and I actually think I've had a better game in it than I've ever had in the T71 DA. All right, T71 DA. Straight to the I love it. This tank, it's just the old school feels very old school as a light. 6 round autoloader that does like 900 damage in 10 seconds, I want to say. It's just really really good. And I think it's one of the only tanks that evaded nerfs, like non-premium tanks that is, whenever tier 10 lights are introduced. So, although, put into collector's vehicles, so I guess it'll never be touched. This, in my opinion, should be the tech tree tier 7 light for America. Um I do think lights just, you should like have uniqueness in each light as going up the tech tree. And I that's what I liked about how it was before. So this is just like a relic from the past. So T92, I hate the sync. Uh, it maxes out at 60 and only does 150 damage per shot and like takes even longer to load than a bulldog. I'd rather play a bulldog any day over this. If anything, I just think it needs to go like 5 kilometers faster. You know, it has decent enough camo and view range to be a scout. It's just pretty slow, or at least on the slower end, and does not pack a punch at all. All right, T49. I love this tank. The derp gun is just amazing. Tier for tier, just better than the derp on the Sheridan, which I did also I was playing derp Sheridan, and the T49 experience is just so much better. So just do 900 damage. Actually have to, think about what you're doing to like plan flanks and stuff, and then just obliterate every other light tank, unless you have to like load heat for a Charmley's frontal plate for some reason because that thing doesn't have a turret. So it's just a really fun tank. Don't play it with the 90 millimeter unless like you just don't use a food consumable for some reason, because then you just don't really have accuracy. All right, Sheridan. You know, it's it's okay. I don't hate it, but in all honesty, it's just a worse RHM. I don't I don't see a reason to play it over the RHM. I don't see a reason to play it with the derp gun anymore. I did try it with the derp, but because I didn't really like the 105. I went back to the 105 and I was enjoying it, but I mean, it's just a worst RHM at that point. It needs some buff, Also, just has like the worst camo, or I think it's actually above the Tezok now, but still, 14% camo is not good. It's huge. Its gun, while having like the best DPM on a light, isn't really reliable or special compared to like the RHM's just amazing HE and all around gun handling and stuff. So it does need a buff. I don't really know what I'd do with it. Maybe give it like the derp gun, have like an auto loading mechanic, like just a Caliban basically as a light. That'd be fun, and maybe make it a little bit more accurate. Maybe give it more pin on that gun too. Just make it actually unique compared to the other 210 lights. So it's up for whatever Wargame wants to do with it. LTG. I do enjoy the LTG. Only thing really keeping me back from putting into the I love it is it just doesn't have engine power. It takes so it just feels like it takes so long to get up to 60, which isn't really that fast in general. Or is it 70? I don't really know how fast thing goes. But, it does have a pretty nice gun for this tier. Pretty nice profile, and it has like really good camo, I believe. Does have pretty poor view range, but I mean you're gonna be using coated optics on a light tank anyways, so I do enjoy this one. Okay, LTTB, I've never played, but it's very similar to the LT432, and in one, except for like armor, because we all know how the LT432 is, but it has like the same gun statistics, I believe, maybe a little bit worse. So I can't really rank it, but if I'd probably put it in the it's okay category, just looking at stats. I will play it, and I'll leave like a comment or something on how I enjoyed it. If I ever play one of these things too, I might do that as well. Like I might buy this from the pawn shop. I might actually play this one. I wish I could have this, but at least they're making like a tier 9 version of it, something that actually looks somewhat balanced. Um, all right, LT432. Um, you know, I don't know if I don't think I actually love the LC432. I feel like the alpha damage just is a little bit too low for me. Um, and I shouldn't be complaining. I guess this tank has amazing. It's one of the only tanks that can combat the ELC, like realistically, or unless the ELC is a horrible player. But it can ram really well, which is pretty funny, and that's what I do like about the LC432. I've rammed so many boars at tier 8, which is just like basically just feeding you damage. So that's an amazing aspect. But um, I do love the premium AP. Premium AP is one of my favorite things ever. So maybe I will put into I love it. Honestly, I don't think the alpha damages will hold it back. You get those like miracle bounces just because angling and frontal turret armor for some reason. So I love T4. I love it. I also do love the T54 lightweight. I do think that it could use something like, maybe an actual premium round. I mean, maybe it's okay, but I don't actually have any real negative things to say. I tried coming up with something that was actually kind of complete lie, honestly. The premium rounds are fine on this tank. I don't know. It rams, I guess, too, kind of like the LT432, just not as well I don't think, you know, it, it's just an all-around good tank. Um, what is this? T100. Um, I love it too, because all three of these tanks do have good guns. I mean, that one has this low alpha. This just feels like an unupgraded T54 that's a light, and this one, the only downside is that you don't really have actual accuracy. You have the best gun handling in the game, I do believe, on this tank, but you have 0.44 base accuracy, so there's that. It also gets premium AP though, and it feels like it just is the light tank, like the jack of all trades light tanks. It has everything. It's so great. I mean, if that gun got the gun like accuracy got buffed, I feel like it would be like overpowered. But it's an amazing tank, and I think it's just one of the well balanced light tanks. All right, Skoda. I love this one too. It is the free to play version of the 13757. My bad. Um, it has like that 1.3 second injury clip with a 5 round autoloader. Of course I do have complaints about it, but we'll get to that. It's just you just burst out 500 damage, 100 damage per shot, and you reload for like 10 seconds. It's just so fun. That is like peak tier 7 gameplay right there. Um, and whenever it was in testing, I do believe it had like way less like alpha. I think it had like 80, which is just like glad you realized they had a wrong there, but they didn't buff the top speed sadly, so you sit at 56, which is just not enough for a light tank at all. And well, the after firing bloom is really good on this tank, like 1.5 or 2 or something. The gun handling is like 0.18, which is just it's just really bad. I don't like that. That's the only complaint. I do use a combat build most of the time on this tank with a first stab just because of that, which is all right. But I mean, I'd rather not have to do that. So, all right, Blesk. Um, I really do enjoy the Blesk. I don't know if I love it though. I think it's a little bit too slow for a tier 8 light. Like I think this one it's slow and it's horrible for that. I mean not horrible, but like the speed is just horrible. But 60 on a tier 8, it's just not enough. Um, and the gun of these tanks, I do feel like is kind of hard to work with at times. Although I guess I'm kind of a bit biased. I really did enjoy the Blesk more than any of the other um lights because I did play it when the bug was in, and I didn't realize it, I guess. But you just didn't lose camo after firing, so there's that. But it is really funny to do like 1600 clip with HE to like a bore or something. So it has its fun times, I guess. Um, what is this? The Squall I've never played. I didn't open many boxes this year, so I didn't get it. But it would probably be in the same. It'd probably be in the okay category, honestly. Just because like it's way slower than the Blesk. Um, but it does have that like the amazing 50 millimeters of pen, like that the Blesk wish it had. That actually is, or an extra 50 millimeter. My bad, extra 13 up to 50 millimeters, which is for the autocan is just insane. So that is why I'd probably put in the okay. It's okay because you still got like 56 or 55 in that tank, which is way too slow for a light tank. Also, it's huge and has the same problem as a Soma, which is it can't turn. But since it's basically like a Soma at tier 8, it's all right. The Soma is just suffering. I hate this tank. I hated grinding it. I actually just blueprinted my way to the Tezok, I think, after this. This tank, even with this fully upgraded like engine and tracks, I think, it just doesn't get around. It just feels so sluggish, and you can only go 62. You don't turn well. And then the gun depression is like only 7. You go from like 10 on the blast to 7, which is I mean like not really good. It is the worst out of the new check lights. So I mean, hopefully, I think all the check lights do need a buff. but the Selma definitely is like the biggest. You mainly to its turning speed, in my opinion. All right. So the Tezok at the beginning, when I first got it, I think I would have put it in suffering or I hate it. But I actually do enjoy the Tezok now because whenever you get the third field mod that gives you a second equipment build, and you put a vertical stabilizer and a tier 3 mobility that helps with bloom, man, the gun just feels so good. And then you actually get around because of the extra top speed. Oh, I mean, the tank is like still super hard to play because you don't reliably get the 900 burst out, but it just really helps you actually hit, like, if you only shoot half a clip, you actually hit more. It's great. So I do enjoy the Tezok. All right, that is, I do believe, all tier 7 through 10 lights currently in what patch are we in? Like 1.27. So anyway, this is the first video, so bear with me if like my my communication skills are horrible, and if any editing that goes into it like is just beginner level, that's also the reason why. But if you enjoyed it, um tell let me know. Oh my god, let me know in the comments. I'll probably make a tier list for the tier 5 and 6 lights because I just didn't want to go take all the or find all the pictures for them, and I also just need to play a lot of them. I'll probably do that next or after whatever video I make next. So anyway, thanks for watching, and bye.